So guys, this is my weekly report for September 21st. Tell you a little bit of what I did this week. I went out up north by Liberty on Monday and Tuesday and caught a few stripers each time. We probably had 3 or 4 stripers that we kept, and then but the bass bite's been off the hook. We caught a lot of fish punching. Denise and Jennifer were with me on Monday, and they both, we probably had a 20-pound bag. We probably punched over 40 or 50 fish. So the bite up there has been really good. The water temperature dropped down to about 68, 69 versus 74, 75. So, fall's coming, so those fish are starting to gather. But on Tuesday when we went, I caught most of them flipping. So, and Denise caught a 608. I had a 5. So we had some decent fish. And then I'm out today. That's why my report's a little bit late. We ran down here and launched over at Brandon Island, and I fished on the San Joaquin. And we caught some stripers. Nothing big. I think the other day the biggest was like 6 or 7 pounds. Today maybe 4 or 5 pounds. But there's a lot of stripers out there. We caught a ton of them. I found a big school jigging, and we caught a lot jigging. But there's still a lot of juvenile fish. But then we went and punched some bass over here. It looks really good, and we were right there in the highest end punching, and I punched one over 5 today. So the flip bite and punch bite's been really good. Other than that, other things going on in Fort Bragg. If you're a tuna guy, that albacore seems to be pretty good up at Fort Bragg, and they're starting at right around 30 miles and then going out. If you plan on going that way, I would definitely look at the water current and make sure that 62 to 64 degree water is coming inward, because once it starts going out and you start driving out that long ways, it could move miles and miles out, so it'd be a long trip. But albacore fishing, I had a lot of friends that have been going. I got invited this week, but I didn't go because they're going to go 50 miles, and I told them I had too much to do. But they caught a lot of fish, a lot of peanuts, so a lot of the albacore are small. It's not a good grade. They're, about that little ones like this, and those are really hard to clean, because when you clean them and cut all the red meat out of them, you get these little strips. But the albacore fishing seems to be doing good, and they're doing good on cedar plugs and zookers. I'm sure you could get some, the friend of mine's are running a meat line. They're also catching them on the meat line on zookers. But those seem to be the top baits. They're getting some big eye out there too. Laura Lee, a friend of mine, they didn't catch a whole lot of albacore, but they caught a big eye, and it was a pretty good size one. But other than that, the bluefin, haven't heard too much. There's a few guys that are diehard guys that are going out. They're still hooking up one here and there. It's just something new, around this area, and they just haven't figured it out. 2 months ago, it was red hot. Everybody was going crazy, and then we had the weather change, and it kind of changed things. Halibut fishing in the bay still really good. I think the bait receiver is still open. A lot of guys are still drifting anchovies in the bay and actually doing pretty good. I personally, I would probably go out to Seal Rock or North Bay, and I think you can probably get a bigger grade of fish. A lot of sturgeon being caught in the system too. Not a lot of people going after them, but they are still catching quite a few sturgeon out there. Stripers, they're moving in to the Delta, in which they'll spend the next 3 or 4 months until it's time to go upriver to spawn. So they're down here. Don Paganelli's been fishing Sherman, and he's been catching a lot of fish in there. And then I got guys over on Winter Island, West Bank. I'm in Liberty catching a lot of them. There's a lot of other guys that are doing good in Liberty. So the stripers are in this Delta system right now, and it's pretty easy to go out there, and you have to move around a little bit and look for them, but keep looking, you'll find them. Today we found a monster school on shad, on spooning on a break in 25 to 35. I put the trolling motor started catching them. But it was fun. I had Eddie with me, and I wanted to move, but he just wanted to keep catching them little things. He was just having too much fun. But other than that, inside our river systems, the steelhead fishing in American. I know Austin Wilson, the manager over at the shop, he's been catching them, and he's been pulling plugs. So, you know, there's some steelhead in the system. And other than that, guys are catching trout. If you watch Big Nate, he's been catching them at Comanche and at Berryessa. He's been limiting out pretty easy, and he's doing a lot of that speed trolling with speedy shiners, you know, going like 2.5 to 3 miles an hour. I heard Berryessa, there's a ton of bait, so you got to find the bait balls, and not all the bait balls have fish on them. You got to keep looking around. But I guess once you locate them, you know, it's game on. And the trout are pretty good size. He's been getting a few in that 18 to 22 inch range. I know at Comanche, Big Al went up there. He caught him up there too, and he said he got him in that 20 to 21 inches on, you know, on the bigger ones. So the trout fishing, I'm sure up in the Sierras, some of the lakes, they're still catching a lot of them up there. You could always go to Fish and Game's website and see where they've been planting. Kokanee fishing, been kind of dwindling down. You know, we're coming to the end of kokanee. I mean, you can still catch them, but you know, they're going to be red, no scales, hook nose. But this is the time of year, if you want to go try spooning them, you know, you could get them, aggravate them to hit a spoon. And I've done that up at Donner, and it's a lot of fun. But the fish are kind of like, they're getting a little bit soft, and they're turning bright red. Other than that, I see some crappie action starting to pick up a little bit. You know, I'm pretty sure I'll be looking as soon as this weather cools. The crappie fishing usually picks up. So usually, you know, we've been getting temperatures dropping about 10 degrees. Water temperature is dropping, that's a good thing. But other than that, you know what, we've got a big sport show coming up, and I think it's a Northern Sportsman's over in Roseville. Next week I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it, but it's October 14th and 15th. I'm going to have a AFO booth there with a lot of goodies and my clothing. So I got hats, t-shirts, and sweatshirts, and then I'll be doing seminar each day on Saturday and Sunday. And I heard there's quite a few vendors. They're going to have hunting, vehicles, they're having all kinds of good stuff. So don't forget October 14th and 15th. And then Saturday morning, if you're on your way fishing and you're on the road at 6:40, tune in to 1140 on AM dial. I'm on California Sportsman's. I'm on there with Kent and Sept, and I give the report that's current. You know, I'm giving you what I know now, but then in a couple of days I find out other stuff. I'll tell you all about it. So if you like the video, hit that like, please subscribe, because it'll help my channel out. And you know, if you want to leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you within a couple of days. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.